We are going to introduce you here on the show to, I think, a guy who has just a tremendous book and a tremendous heart based on now my off-air conversation with him and also going through his book. His book is The Joyful Gospel of Christ, and Zachary Schertz joins us to talk about his book and the road that led him to writing that and why you would find it interesting. So, Zach, thanks so much for coming on.
It's lovely to meet you. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about why you wrote the book. What made you decide I'm going to write this book?
Well, I realized that there were a lot of illustrated Bibles out there, but they all really did have the same problem. Either they were grossly oversimplified or historically inaccurate, and I realized that there really needed to be something to get this job done, because you hand a kid a Bible, he's going to say, oh, this is a bunch of words, it's boring. Hey, this one has pictures.
Yes. So when you set out to do that, what was that undertaking like?
Well, the hardest part was really finding a good artist, and I think I found a really good artist. And another really hard part was getting the four Gospels to work together. As you know, they tell the same story from four different angles, and I had to really make them match, and that was a little harder than I thought it would be.
But somehow you did it, so that's very cool. And for you, what is your favorite part of the Bible?
My favorite part of the Bible as a whole would probably be Ezekiel 33, 2-6. It is my life's ministry passage. It basically says that if there is a threat coming to the land and a watchman set to keep an eye on things does not say anything and the threat comes to the people, their blood is on his hands. But at the same time, if he warns the people and they do not take heed, he is clear of their blood, and they are on their blood is on their own hands. People who are set into an idea of watching it to make sure that nothing goes wrong will have a greater condemnation in the coming judgment.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting too. And I had no idea what you were going to pick. And I think people think about that, but I don't know how much they're processing it. For you, what did you learn about putting this together?
I learned that the Bible is infinitely more fascinating than I ever thought. There's more details about things that work together. Just small things here and there that you wouldn't have noticed. For example, with John the Baptist, a lot of illustrated Bibles I see have the Pharisees come and test John, but the scripture is actually clear. First, they send their disciples, and then they come to speak to him themselves.
Yeah, wow. You know, it's interesting when I was thinking about, like you said, the illustrations and things that you saw that were frustrating because so many Bibles didn't get it right. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think a lot of that is tradition that's come over the years. For example, one tradition that came about from the medieval artists is that Jesus had long hair. There's actually no evidence of it. It was actually very fashionable in the Middle Ages and in medieval periods to have long hair, but Jesus actually would have had very short hair.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Because every single image is the opposite of that.
Yeah, and I also see a lot of images of Jesus as a white guy, and that just bothers me.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think? You know, in pulling this together, and you said your reasons why. I mean, I guess it's worth this, so I understand the reasons why. But people listening, and of course, we're talking to Zachary Schertz, and his book is The Joyful Gospel of Christ. You can also reach out to him at schertzwriting.net. That's where you can find out more, and you can get the book on Amazon. What do you ultimately hope people take away from reading this book?
The one thing I really hope that people get out of this book is so that they can say, hey, I can trust the Bible, because I've seen more than a fair share of people say, oh, we can't trust the Bible because there are contradictions, such as between the four Gospels. This Gospel includes this one doesn't include that. And I want people to be able to see, hey, it's one continuous narrative. One author might have included details that the other didn't. For example, in the healing of the Gerasene demoniac, one gospel says that there are two demoniacs. One gospel says that there are one. I think the one that says there's only one is Luke. But there were two demoniacs. It's just that but when it mentions one, because only one actually interacts with Jesus.
Wow. And see,
I want to dispel a lot of these contradictions.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. There are a lot of contradictions, and you obviously uncovered them and found them out. Do you have another book on the horizon? Are you going to write another book?
Yes. Upcoming volume is the Luminous Gospel of Christ. Joyful ends just before Jesus is baptized in the Jordan, and Luminous picks up right there and continues on just before his triumphal entry into Jerusalem.
Wow. Well, we'll look forward.
I also have another book that's ready called Operation Battleground Textbook. It discusses some of the errors in the evolutionary thinking and basically says, look, there's no evidence for evolution. Is it possible, even remotely possible, that there might be another explanation?
There you go. I can't wait to find out more about those as well. But like I said, people can get you at churchwriting.net. They can get this book, The Joyful Gospel of Christ, on Amazon, and where great books are sold. So, Zach, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much. And do have a blessed day. And remember to always be the watchman.
You too. Thank you.
If you're interested, you can buy my books, The Joyful Gospel of Christ and Operation Battleground Textbook, available now where books are sold. And if you want to donate, you can help me out and join my 12 by 12 club. $12 a month or 6 cups of coffee, and I won't check up on you. But know that every penny goes back into the ministry.